Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. Saw this clip going around on X, and I'm going to play it from Swan Bitcoin. But it is a perfect example of how early we are and how there is still the fear of what you don't understand and blind trust to the way that things have always been, because it's always been that way. So you're like, I'm just going to trust that and just do that because, hey, that's what the way it's always been, right? So this is amazing because Tucker Carlson is a decent, what would you call it, like figurehead, spokesperson, has a good following. The people that follow him or whatever are, influenced by him to some degree. So, and then he's just like one of many like influencers or podcasters, or however you want to phrase him. And when these people speak, others will kind of co-sign that. And he clearly, not to be negative, shows and explains. He says in his own words, he doesn't understand Bitcoin, so he's ignorant to it. So he shows his ignorance of it and therefore unwillingness to learn more and make a decision for himself. So what happened here in this is that someone in the audience is at Turning Point USA event in Indiana, now about 2 weeks old, where they asked him, does he own Bitcoin or what his thoughts on Bitcoin? And he gives like a 3-minute kind of spiel. And it really, really just nails down probably where a lot of people are. And coming from a intelligent individual with a large audience, this is to me very telling for us who have been orange pilled of how early we are and how much further we have to go.
Hey, do you invest in Bitcoin? Do you think it's like a viable asset to invest in?
Oh man, I don't want to make more enemies. I mean, you want the real, it's my last answer, but so I want the actual answer?
Yeah, sure.
And here's why. I spoke at the Bitcoin conference actually last year. I've spoken at a couple of Bitcoin conferences. I love the idea of Bitcoin because I love the idea of financial autonomy. I don't want what I buy or sell to be tracked. I don't want my money to be tracked. It's nobody's business. I pay my taxes. I've never cheated on my taxes. I've been very tempted, but I never have one time cheated on my taxes. And once the money's mine, like I can do what I want with it. And if you find me breaking the law, arrest me. But if you don't, it's none of your beeswax, as the kids say. So I love the idea of the blockchain. I knew some of the people involved in that whole thing. And I still believe in that promise, okay? Roger Ver, for example. I don't know how closely you follow this, but like, there are people who still believe in that. But it turns out that it is not, to this point, been, I hope it will be, a way to conduct financial transactions privately at all. And that really freaks me out. I'm really afraid of a digital currency because that is totalitarian control. If you can...
Let's unpack that. So his first fear he illustrates is that it's not a way to conduct financial transactions anonymously. That was not, like, I would say, the initial goal or main focal point. It is in the Bitcoin white paper. I encourage you guys to read it. It's only like 11 pages. But the main point of this was creating a peer-to-peer cash system, like right there in the abstract, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, Bitcoin white paper. Now, the what do you call it? A privacy aspect is not a flaw of Bitcoin. It's a flaw of the actual systems built on top. So if you were to go back to the old school days where they were getting Bitcoin, forgot the name of the website, but you basically found someone on a website and you had to meet them in person to exchange the Bitcoin via the private keys. And you gave them cash or whatever, and then they sent it and you waited for it to confirm. That has no financial mediator layer like we have now with centralized exchanges. So that's not a flaw of Bitcoin. When in that way, no one knew about those two people, who the public keys were and who that money was tied to. Now, with the centralized exchanges requiring KYC, they know what Bitcoin you've purchased, and then from there goes to their pool, and then they can track, the wallet if they wanted to and see where that went. And you could kind of cover your tracks a bit with different wallets. But yes, because of the privacy layer they built on top through centralized exchanges with know your customer and anti-money laundering rules, that's removed the privacy. But if you go to peer-to-peer, so if you were to send me Bitcoin from your cold storage wallet, and then I were to send it to someone else, that, and it doesn't go back to an exchange, no one knows at the end of the day who has that Bitcoin. You could track it if the first person who bought it coming through the exchange, you know who it is. And it's like, that came from Drip Coach, that went to this wallet. But that wallet there, if that's just a cold storage wallet or a wallet you created outside of exchange, no one knows who that is. And if that person on that wallet decides to send it to someone else for a good and service, and they never cash it out, it's still private. So again, Tucker just kind of illustrates he doesn't actually know how it works and what its purpose was, even though he's been around it, like he said, kind of since its inception.
Punish people. If you can zero out their bank account and keep them from eating, you will have total obedience. Like, that's totalitarian. And I know that young people love crypto because they've been completely screwed in the job market and there are no financial opportunities for most of them. And they know they're staring down a life of, if not poverty, certainly a step down from the way they grew up, most young people. And so Bitcoin for them, crypto in general for them, is a promise of like, how can I make it in this world? Like, I would like to have a normal life. How can I do that? And crypto is a way they think that they can. And I'm praying for them. I hope that's true. But I fear that it will become like so many other things in our country, a scam of sorts, run by a coalition of the financial beneficiaries, like a few people who are getting all the winnings, and the politicians they control who use it to further their control of American society. I'm really worried about that. And so
And that's another point where he, again, doesn't understand. So a Bitcoin cannot be controlled unless we, the people, decide to give up our share, and if people running nodes decide to all centralize and move to one location so it can't be co-opted. So remember, the beauty of Bitcoin is that each person is selfishly incentivized to not be coerced or give up, because I forgot the amount of energy and power and time and money it would take. But like Michael Saylor points this out multiple times, if you wanted to attack and control the network to get 51% of the network, it would take much more time and money to do that, to basically maybe mine one double spend or whatever, a couple blocks. But the minute that the network, the other 49% of people figured that out, then the network would more than likely fork or they roll it back. So, and of course you would see that happening, like moving towards that 51%. And again, the people that are incentivized, that are currently holding it, like myself, and wanting to run a node, you would just make sure that you do not move your node to wherever that hash rate is looking at being controlled. So
totally fine with you. I'm on gold.
It doesn't quite make any sense. And then, like he said, it's going to be co-opted or controlled or whatever. And the other piece could be that, oh, okay, well, now like Michael Saylor owns, 3% of the Bitcoin supply. His 3% is no different than my 0.00003%. He can't do anything with it. He doesn't have any control, any more stake on it. Now with Ethereum, speaking of stake, that's different. That's why I'm not a big Ethereum guy. I believe it's going to go up quite a bit and be used, as Raoul Pal says, by Wall Street. But because of that staking component and the ability to vote and control, I'm not so big on that. But Bitcoin has no attack vector or control vector or anything like that. And the fact that it's being regulated and governed and approved is just actually better for the end user like me and you, because we can get it right now without the red tape. Governments, central banks, and all that have to go through, and even companies go through so much red tape to get it approved and put on their balance sheet and start purchasing it. The minute they do, you're going to wish you were buying it now, because it's going to price you out. While you're able to throw hundreds of thousands, they're throwing millions and billions. So that price gap right now is available, and it's going to quickly shift if you kind of follow narratives like this that, oh, I don't understand it, so I'm gonna stay away from it.
Buyer. And I've been vindicated big time in that. And everyone's like, oh, you're crazy buying gold. Yeah. It was good enough for the Phoenicians. It's good enough for me. And I, in general, don't get involved in anything I don't understand. I think
that's the mic drop moment. I don't get involved with things I don't understand. While that is a good kind of baseline ideology, don't dive into things head first you don't understand, I would say, well, if you don't understand it, the first step would then be try to understand it. Like, I'm not going to get involved, period, pointblank.com, like that's just stupid because, for example, I don't understand, how the entire digestive system works in detail and food gets inside and how light coming to Earth is changing the energy with solar. I don't understand that, but it's not gonna stop me from like buying a solar panel or battery powered device or eating food. Like there's a lot of things I don't understand, but I have a general concept of, and if I need more in order to make a decision to use XYZ, then I will go ahead and learn more. I definitely don't understand aerodynamics and propulsion and how the plane I'm about to get on can take me from point A to point B in a matter of hours safely. It's an aluminum tube flying through the air. Don't understand that at all. I understand how rockets work and satellites, but I can go to Google Maps and find myself with GPS. So AI, don't understand any of that. So that just kind of, you can unpack what he just said and take it to its final form and go, okay, yeah, that's not a good idea, Tucker. But again, there are multiple people that think just like this. And because of that, again, like I prefaced this intro with video, we are early because a lot of people will fall into that trap.
That's a really good rule. There's some things I think I understand, turns out I didn't understand them, but in general, I try to limit myself to things I understand. And nobody can explain to me who Satoshi was, the creator of Bitcoin, this mysterious guy who apparently died, but nobody knows who he was. I grew up in DC primarily in a government family, so CIA. That's my guess, can't prove it, but like you're telling me to invest in something whose founder is like mysterious and has billions of dollars of unused Bitcoin. Like, what is that? And no one can answer the question, including some of the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world who I know personally. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters to me.
Let's start where talk.
That is fascinating that he ends it with that point there, that he wants to know who the founder is. And a lot of people are that way. But ask yourself, like, yeah, what is the benefit of that? It's because it's the way it's always been. You've always known the founder and creators of things. So it gives you this false sense of security. And all of a sudden it rubs your ego, I guess you would say, identity probably more so, the wrong way when you have this unknown factor. When in reality, because Satoshi was unknown, that is what makes this have no attack vectors. If Satoshi was known, people would be, looking for him, his family, all sorts of stuff where you can be attacked, controlled, push another narrative, all sorts of stuff. So again, all I can say is all the stuff that Tucker pointed out are actually strengths, not weaknesses of Bitcoin. And some things are just, it proves he just doesn't understand it, like the privacy. And again, not knowing who the owner is or the creator is. And even if it is CIA or a joint stealth force that created it, with other nation states, ask yourself, why does that matter? Does it change the fundamental properties of Bitcoin? Is it still open, decentralized, secure, founded by energy? Is it getting stronger? Is the hash rate improving? Are people adopting more nodes, more self-custody? As the 10-minute mining and 3 Bitcoins per block changed? The answer to all that is no. Of course, the mining rewards do change based off of the halving, but you get my point. Like, has the fundamental laws of Bitcoin changed in 16 years? Has it been down? Has anyone co-opted it, controlled it? No. So if the answer is no, which it is, why does it matter who created it? Like, that's just fascinating that that's his last kind of nail in the coffin thing for why he chooses to ignore it. And I say kudos. We need more people like this to ignore it because it keeps the price small for people like us to buy it. And unfortunately, they'll get left behind and, still be broke. Hope he's buying physical gold and not gold certificates. But then with physical gold, you are at risk of, someone breaking in your house, stealing your gold. So I don't know. And good luck again, as Mark Yusko said in the previous video, of stuffing that in a computer and sending it to somebody. Good luck shaving it off to pay in pieces. So, all right. Hope that provides some value for you guys. Smash that HBO special. Help a brother out. Like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.